Good morning, my friends. I'm so glad you found your way back. How is everyone this morning? We're here for week 5. Believe it or not, 5 weeks are over, and we're already into February. This year is rolling by very quickly. I want to make this as short as possible, so let me just go very quickly and say that this year I want to do 1,000 pound challenge in hopes of diverting 1,000 pounds that would have gone out in the trash, down the garbage disposal, um, even recycling. You know, if I can put it back out into my garden, it's getting counted. And each day I am going through and I'm writing down all the different things that I've gone ahead and weighed and keeping track of it that way. And so moving along, I wanted to just tell you that it's fruit and veg peels. I use eggshells that I pulverized, shrimp shells. You could use lobster shells. You could use, if you have a way of doing it, I mean, you could use any shell really, and you're breaking it down and putting calcium back. Coffee grounds, tea bags, any of that product that you brew and you've got left over, even if it's just leaves, throw it back into your garden. Leaves either whole or ground. Uh, Here in Florida we have live oak leaves. Boy, I'll tell you what, I wish I could find a way to make those a product, because we have a vast amount. I mean, that's one of the main trees in Florida, and people just, sweep it away. They sweep it up and get rid of it because it's more alkaline while it's breaking down. If we could take it and compost it, and a year or two later, but I'd have to do something with that for a year or two. Let's see, my moringa leaves, my stems, any of that I'm feeding to my worms. But back to the leaves, I have Drake elm leaves, and they're really tiny, and I think they're more acidic. Even, of course, as they're breaking down, they're going to pull nitrogen out of whatever I have there. So my friend Sandra over at Nana's Garden and Worms mentioned that to me, to be careful if I use it as a starting mix, that it might deplete the nitrogen if they aren't, if it isn't leaf mold. I'm using it straight off the tree and pulverizing it and using it that way. Paper towel rolls, toilet paper rolls, cardboard, shredded, either cardboard, either shredded or otherwise. My big one is going to be grass clippings, at least I'm hoping. Vacuum cleaner, the dirt that comes out of your bag, you could use that. You can use hair clippings, you can use, if you clip your toenails, any fingernails, any of that sort of thing. Any of that can go back into your compost pile. Any stale foods that you would normally throw away, like your flour, crackers, cereals, help me. I'm sure you guys think more in your of what you're feeding your family than I do. We're pretty simple people. Um, the one thing I did want to mention about the cork, I said this to you last week, and I said that cork comes from a cork tree, which is true, and it's from Greece. Well, I was totally wrong. My geography is like, uh, uh, I barely made a C in geography. And the nuns were happy to pass me on to the next. Oh, we don't have to have geography anymore. Oh, good. And but that's a long story. Cork, actually, 80% of the world's cork comes from Spain and Portugal. The Iberian Peninsula is where it is really the main area that it grows. It takes 25 to 34 years before they can get the first harvest on off of it. And I saw a program, it was National Geographic or something, and they actually take it and like skin the tree. You know, like they don't take it the whole way down to the bare nitty gritty. You know, they just take the top parts off of it, and then it grows back out, and then they harvest it again. But one thing that as I was researching this, I thought was interesting, is that during World War II, who was alive then? Not I wasn't, but anyway, during World War II, there was a concern that there would be a shortage of cork. You know, they didn't have the plastic resin corks at that point. They didn't have screw tops, so there was a fear that there was going to be a shortage, and they started to graft onto oak trees out in the Midwest, out in California area, and I believe it's still there, but to this day it's a cork oak trees that you can graft onto. And at the University of California, the Davis campus of Disneyland still has some of these trees. So anyway, just a little factoid there. Okay, so that's all out of the way. Let me just tell you what we're doing. Got off to a really good start. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, those weeks were they were easy. Now I've kind of run out of cardboard. I think my neighbor had some company come and cut his grass last week. So that's 25, 30 pounds that I won't have for another month or two. He travels, so sometimes he cuts his own grass and sometimes he doesn't. But I did my best. I was really working it. Although this week I did a lot with my sifting. You know, I got my sifter set going, and I'm having so much fun doing that. But I did my best, and I worked real hard, and I collected my fruit, and I did everything else, and I came to a total of 9 pounds, 10.6 ounces. And I went ahead and like I said, we're into February, so we're starting a new month here. And I added it up, and it came up for 5 weeks. I have a total of 104 pounds. I'm sorry, 106 pounds, 15.4 ounces. So I'm still in my 20 pounds a month. You know, I have to come up with that almost to get my 1,000 pounds. At least that's what I'm aiming for. And so I'm real proud of myself. So anyway, I hope this is shorter than the weeks past, and I hope you guys will join me if you so choose. And you know, I've had a few people say that it's given them the idea that they might not do the challenge, but oh, I didn't know I could. Oh, gee, that's right. Gosh, that would go in my garden. Oh, son of a gun. Hey, one other thing I wanted to mention. Ann over at Plant Obsessed, you know, this whole idea of YouTube and how we can pass ideas back and forth, it's like having best friends, isn't it? You know, if you have a small group like I have, I really only have a faithful following of, I don't know, 12, 24 people. But it's great because we can kind of like, you know, network and brainstorm. She made the comment, she said, oh, I didn't think about the cork, but she's an orchid grower as well as a great worm lady. She said the corks she used because she'd run out of bark for her orchids. And so she took cork and chopped it up and used that as her, you know, orchid medium, you know, for them to, they take their air roots, their epiphytes, they take the air roots and they, you know, hang on to the different mediums that you give them. And cork is one of them. So if you are growing something like air fern, if you're, I can't imagine anybody growing Spanish moss because it's so much here that we we gather it and throw it away. But if you don't have it, it's special to you. But you could use your corks for that if you so have the natural one. So anyway, that's my week. I hope everybody has a great week, and I hope that you guys will come back and see me again. I hope you like my t-shirt. It's a group therapy, whether you're drinking red wine, white wine, or champagne. It's all good. Take care, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye.